What's going on YouTube? So rarely does a new nameplate enter the market and make such a big splash as this Kia Telluride. For the first 3 model years, super high demand has made these very hard to find. But that's not keeping Kia from improving this popular model. This is the refreshed 2023 Telluride, which has gotten a bunch of design changes, feature updates, new trims, and more. So is this new Telluride even better than before? That's what we're about to find out. So we're super excited to have located this 2023 refreshed Telluride so quickly. That being said, that does mean that we're actually in front of when full information has been released to the US media in terms of trim level structure. So this is going to be a slightly different video than usual. We're going to really focus in on this trim level specifically, which I'm happy to say is the fully loaded SX Prestige X Pro, which is also a new off-road focused model for 2023. But let's go ahead and dive in and see what we're looking at. So first of all, you'll notice right from the start, there's going to be quite a bit different up here in the front. The overall design has really been kind of toughened up. It's designed to be a little bit more squared off than even before. And like I said, give it a more rugged vibe. The grille itself has a slightly different look this year. We do have a new texture on the inside. You've got that updated Kia logo, of course, but I think really one of the more meaningful changes is the fact that Telluride used to be spelled out across the front. They've actually taken that off this year. You're only going to find that badge on the back design for 2023. Now, additionally, on this X Pro model, we do have 10 millimeters of additional ground clearance, and we have better approach and departure angles. Now let's move on to the other big styling update for 2023. That's going to be brand new headlights. So you're actually going to have standard LED headlights on all the trim levels this year. Previously, some of the lower end models came with halogen headlights. And as you can see, it does have a new design. Gone is the kind of radius that went around through there. We just have a kind of straight up and down element. We don't have the amber daytime running lights anymore. So I kind of like those. Personally, I thought that was a very cool touch that was unique to the Telluride, but we don't actually have those this year. We do still have, however, the LED fog lamps down here at the bottom. Now let's go ahead and talk about our wheel options. So just like with any good refresh, we've got brand new wheel options all across the board. Many of the models are going to come with 20-inch alloy wheels on the upper end of the lineup. However, once you choose the X Pro, that's actually going to decrease the tire size back down to 18 inches. That's what you're looking at right here, an 18-inch matte black finished alloy wheel. And the important difference, though, is that's a different size because it's accommodating Continental all-terrain tires to give you that extra off-road capability that you're going to want with the X Pro model. Let's also come up here and take a look at our mirrors. As you can see, we've kind of got the two-tone finish with gloss black down here on the bottom. And of course, on this top-end model, we've got all the features you're going to want. So you've got blind spot monitoring, heating, and power folding.
All right, guys, so I'm sure you're eagerly awaiting what's new at the side and rear of this Telluride. Well, here at the side, there's not going to be as much new as in the front. There are a few different elements going on, but you're still looking at an overall length of 196.9 inches, right on par with that of what is typical in the segment. And for some design elements, as you can see on this particular model, we still do have this nice little hump here. That's kind of something that the Telluride has been famous for, and this is going to be finished in a smoke chrome finish. Up here at the very top, we have these large roof rails, and these are actually going to be in a piano black finish. So you're going to have a little bit of different colors going on with this refresh model. Now, moving around to the rear design. Once again, you are definitely going to notice some changes. That said, they haven't revolutionized the Telluride, and they certainly didn't need to. This has been a very popular vehicle ever since it came out, and I would actually be upset if they changed the design. So I'll mention a few of the design elements. We have a spoiler integrated right here. Your Kia branding, Telluride is still spat out across the back, but the new stuff is going to be right here in your taillights. So as you can see, they might look a little different, and the reason for that is that Kia has added clear taillight lenses for 2023, so you're still going to have a very similar design as what you had before, but it's going to be a clear lens, and you're still looking at LED components going on inside of here. Now, if we drop down, you will notice you have an integrated reverse light in this lower bumper area. And then as far as this area, this is also going to be changed. So we have a more squared off, rugged design. So all of this is going to have a very square finish. You also have some P&O black going around your reverse light. You're still going to have the dual exposed exhaust outlets here on the right side. And I want to talk about the towing. So every version of the Telluride is going to have a 5,000 pound tow rating unless you get this one right here. This is the X Pro. The X Pro is actually going to beef up your towing to 5,500 pounds. So you get that additional 500 pounds of tow rating. Well guys, it's time to talk about the updated safety systems as well as warranty information. Now, we don't have full trim level information at this point because Kia has not released that information yet. However, you can expect that the entire suite will be available across the trim levels. Now, a few information pieces that we do know that is actually new for the refresh. You're going to have Highway Drive Assist 2.0 as an available feature on the higher end Telluride models, and that's going to have some improved functionality, including auto lane changing with the Highway Drive Assist function, which is a pretty neat feature. Highway Drive Assist 1.0 will be on the lower end trim levels though, so keep that in mind. Now, as far as your warranty information is concerned, that's not going to change. 5-year, 60,000 mile basic warranty, 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. So that's still a pretty stellar warranty. Well, guys, I won't leave you in suspense any longer. Let's go ahead and hop into the inside and see what's new there.
So approaching the 2023 Telluride, as you walk up, the mirrors will go ahead and fold outwards. And I want to show you guys the new Kia key fob. This is the first model to have this. It's got a new design. Still the buttons on the side, and you also have remote start on this side as well, but a nice meaty feel to it. Additionally, you no longer have the button to push. You just reach behind the handle, and that will unlock the door. There's a good look at the updated interior, and let's go ahead and climb inside and take a look at all the details. Now, like I mentioned on the outside, Kia hasn't provided some of the key information for this new model quite yet. That being said, let's talk about the seats. So, I do know these are Nappa leather seats, and this is the fully loaded model. And as you can see, the design itself is quite a bit different than last year. We have a really beautiful design. Lots and lots of quilting that runs all throughout, kind of in a almost web-like pattern. I think it looks very, very premium. We also have the X Pro branding right there in the seat itself. And of course, being Nappa leather, the quality feels very, very good, and it's a very comfortable seat to sit in as well. Now, like I said, I don't know specific color options. Of course, what you're looking at is black. And if it remains the same as last year, which it probably will, you'll have the choice between gray or also some brown options. Now, turning over here to the seat controls themselves, I counted 14 ways of power adjustment on this fully loaded model, including 4-way lumbar support and a power thigh extension. And let's go ahead and look around the cabin as a whole, because of course, Telluride's really always been known for having a very premium upscale cabin. That is going to continue this year, but we do have some styling revisions. So starting out over here in the door trim, we have leather that runs all through here with the stitching detail. It's going to be soft touch along the top, and we have a wood accent on this trim level. As far as the windows, one touch auto up and down for all 4, and you do have the 2-person memory seating. Rising up to the upper dashboard, this is all going to be finished in a soft touch plastic, again with the stitching detail. We've got generous use of this faux wood trim that runs all through here. And this is part of what's kind of changed. The vent design has been updated, as well as how everything finishes with the wood. This is, like I said, faux wood, but it feels very realistic, has kind of a rough texture to it. As we move down, you've got those now signature Telluride handlebars, also covered in leather, and everything in here does fit together extremely nicely. Now start it up, put your foot on the brake, of course, and press the standard button. And right off the bat here, you're going to come to one of the most substantial upgrades to the interior. Digital gauge cluster. I know you guys have talked about this a lot. It was one of the things that people wanted changed about the Telluride was upgrading from the analog gauges to the digital gauges, and Kia has listened this year. We've got the dual 12.3-inch displays. It's all part of kind of one curved display unit, and that does give you all the customizability that you've seen in some other Kia products like the Sportage. So you can like change the design when you go into different drive modes, make all your adjustments to the settings and safety systems right there in the display itself. Furthermore, we do continue to have the blind spot camera system on this upper end model. Now rising above, this is also another change for 2023. It already had a head-up display, but it's been upsized this year, so it's now 10 inches versus 8.5 inches last year, and it has all the information that you come to expect, once again including safety systems and your blind spot information, which I find particularly helpful. As we pull back here, we do also have rain sensing wipers. And taking a look at our steering wheel, this does look the same this year. It's nicely leather wrapped with a smooth, high quality leather, double color contrast stitching. As far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping across the entire lineup, and you also have steering wheel heating on many of your models. But even though this has a lot of luxury on board, it is still ultimately a family vehicle. So let's go ahead and check the interior storage situation. Now taking a look underneath our center console, this is looking the same to me this year. We still have this large bin that you could remove and toss to the side. And then you've got a large center console, goes down quite a distance. It is also going to be felt line down there at the bottom. But one thing I am noticing that is new is a USB Type-C instead of the previous USB-A. But I know what you're all anxiously awaiting to know. How did the coupons fit? Well, stick them in there. They're going to fit no problem whatsoever. We could actually fit at least 3 times as many. Up in front of that, we got our 2 cup holders. You got another little storage area right there. We press down on that piano black trim. That's going to reveal a large front storage bin, which also doubles as a wireless phone charging pad. We've got another USB-C, a traditional USB, and a 12-volt outlet. Now coming back here to the shifter, a lot of you guys will be happy to know they did not switch to an electronic shifter. It's got the traditional style. You can bump over here to the left to shift manually. There are not going to be paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And then when we go into reverse, you are going to find a 360-degree camera system pop up. As you can see, we've got active trajectory. We've got 2 different views, or several different views, excuse me, 2 right on the display currently. But here's what's new. We've got the 360-degree spinning ability. You guys saw this on the new Palisade as well as the latest Genesis products, and it is now here on the Telluride. Really, really good resolution and looks very high-tech. The mirrors also fold down when in reverse to help you back up easier. And you've got an electronic parking brake with brake hold function back behind it. As I kind of move up the handlebars here, we do have, of course, 3-stage heated seats on this top model, as well as 3-stage ventilated seats. And here are our climate controls. These are going to be 3-zone automatic, as you would expect. Adjustment is super easy. You just twist the knob to change the temperature. We don't have any of the touch capacitive buttons or the dual function volume and climate controls like we do on the Sportage. And speaking of that, we also have our volume knob right above that. So this top-end model will continue to come with the 630-watt 10-speaker Harman Kardon premium sound system. And let's go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system remains very strong and one of the best ones in the segment. Alright, so let's return back to our display system here and talk about the infotainment. So this has also been updated. If you remember last year, the 10.25-inch display became standard equipment across the Telluride lineup. Well, now we're switched to a 12.3-inch display, which, like I said, works in with the gauges kind of as one piece. As far as this is concerned, software-wise, it's going to be running the latest Kia software, so you've got that cool splash screen on the front end. This is what the built-in navigation system looks like, taking up the entire 12-inch display. Resolution is really nice. Of course, you do also have standard Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. However, it is not wireless on this larger display. You do still have to plug it in. Now, as we move on up, let's talk about the mirror. It is a frameless auto-dimming design, but new this year is the fact that we have the rear camera mirror. So if you flip that switch, that's going to cut out all the back obstructions with people's heads, cargo, anything like that, and give you that clear view out the back. Of course, up top here, we've got some LED lighting. And we continue to have our dual panel panoramic sunroof. So as you can see, the back portion there does have that power sunshade. The front portion does open up and have a wind buffer. And while I'm up here, I will point out, we continue to have the very premium suede headliner, which goes really nicely with those Nappa leather seats.
Well guys, it's always a pleasure to be sitting in a Telluride's rear seat because it is really quite the mix of space and really luxurious features, especially when you go for a top-end model like what we're sampling out today. So let's go ahead and talk about the space first, then we'll hop into some of those luxury features and what's new for 2023. So we're looking at 42.4 inches of legroom, 40.2 inches of headroom. That is, of course, going to be unchanged for 2023, as you would expect out of a refresh, but that does make it larger than the Toyota Highlander, as well as the current generation Pilot. Not that all-new one. We don't know any information about that one yet. Now, as you can see today, we do have the captain's chairs on this particular model, which is a really nice touch. We can slide them forward and back. We can also recline them for additional comfort. So as you can see, they do recline back a long ways. I imagine the third row passengers might not be comfortable if you have any back there. But let's turn our attention towards some of the features. So here in the center, we'll start in this area. We do have two cup holders up top surrounded in piano black. If we drop below that, we have a 12-volt power outlet. We also have a household style outlet to keep everything charged up. New for 2023 is we're going to have USB Type-C ports integrated into both of the seat back, so that's new. It used to be a USB Type-A. Up top, we do have a revised design for this area up here. This is going to be all of your climate controls, so you can adjust your temperature independent from the front back here, as well as your fan speeds and zones. We also do have some LED illumination integrated there, and your vents are going to be integrated right beside that up here in this beautiful suede headliner. Now, as far as some other features, let's turn to the door trim. You'll see some features there. We have rear window sunshades. Like we've said throughout this review, we don't have exact trim level information, so that will be on at least the higher end Telluride models. Dropping below that, we have some padded plastic, some more of that faux wood trim, a nice leather wrapped armrest, and then in front of the window switches, you're going to notice these little switches here. That's one of the Telluride's coolest things. We have heated and ventilated second row seats, so that's a pretty rare feature to see in this segment of vehicle, and that's at least going to be offered on the higher end models. I do believe it's probably included in the Prestige package if you're curious. Now let's go ahead and check out the third row. Of course, this is a 3-row SUV, and in order to get back here, you just press the little button right here that folds the seat forward and slides it out of the way. One of the easiest getting into the third rows in the entire segment. Now, hopping back into the third row itself, as you can see, this seat is actually adjusted all the way back in its tracks. It is a normal recline, and I have about an inch of space between my knees and the seat back, and my feet can slide up underneath the seat. So overall, I'd give this a very high rating. I'm pretty comfortable. As far as the legroom figures, you're looking at 31.4 inches of legroom, a little over 38 inches of headroom for your specs, which is pretty class competitive, although larger than the Highlander. Now, as far as some of the features, let's mention those. We have USB Type-C ports in the third row on each side. That's also new this year. We have two cup holders, and then we're also going to have vents integrated up here in the top, which is nice that they haven't cheaped out on the vents for the third row. Now, walking up to the Telluride, as you can tell, we do have a hands-free smart liftgate for this high-end model. And then as far as the space is concerned, this is also going to be unchanged for 2023. The space figures typically don't change with refreshes. So we're looking at 21 cubic feet behind the third row, 46 behind the second row, and as a maximum you're looking at 87 cubic feet. If you're curious as to how that lands with the competitors, that's going to be larger than Highlander, larger than current gen Pilot. It's really one of the largest vehicles in the entire segment. It's right on par with Palisade, if that's something you're considering as well. Now, as far as some of the features, let's go ahead and mention that. So, as you can see, we have the third row up. In order to fold it down, we just grab these little straps here, and that makes it really quite easy to fold down the third row. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that you will have to manually fold it up, and that is something that the Palisade offers, is a power folding third row. That's still not going to be offered for the refreshed Telluride, so you're still going to have to do that manually. That said, over here on the side, we do have second row folding buttons, so we can just fold those seats down like that, and that will reveal the full 87 cubic feet of capacity. We have a 12-volt outlet on the left side. We also have a household style outlet on the right side, and if we pop open this area, we're going to have additional space. I'd say you have at least a few more cubic feet up underneath of here. A spare tire is underneath of that. And that's pretty much it for the cargo area. Now for your passenger seat, we do have a power adjusting passenger seat for this high-end model. It's actually a lot of different ways of adjustment, and we also do have the two-way lumbar support even. And then if we pop open the glove box, you guys already know what time it is. It's coupon test time. And inside of here, pull out those coupons. We do have a nice felt-lined glove box, though the glove box itself is a little shallow. Today we're going to go to Johnny Carino's, $10 off of 30. That's a really good deal if you like Johnny Carino's. I've never been, so comment in the comment section if you like that place. And then up top we have a sun visor, we have LED illumination, nice large mirror. We also have that nice suede on the sun visor, makes for a really premium touch, and we can also detach it and extend it.
There we are, 60 miles per hour in this 2023 Telluride. So, we had a bunch of updates to the exterior. We have quite a few updates to the interior. Do we have anything new with the powertrain situation? The answer is going to be no. The mechanical bits are the same this year, so our engine is still a 3.8 liter V6 engine, naturally aspirated across all the models, 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. So those are healthy numbers for this segment. And like I was saying, it is standard across the whole lineup, so this one doesn't have like a turbo 4-cylinder offering. Some of the rivals have that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people might be happy to know that you do have that smooth, refined V6 across all the truck
Even
models.
the base one, yeah.
Even the base model.
Yeah, and power definitely feels really competitive. Another thing about this motor that we've said for years is it has a nice raspy growl to it, so it even sounds better than some of the other V6s within the segment. It just has a nice tone.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, power definitely comes on nice and strong. Another smooth characteristic of the powertrain is the 8-speed automatic transmission. That also carries on for 2023. It's a good transmission. This is a really nice and smooth one. It's also responsive, which is, of course important, because some cars can get, kind of confused in terms of which gear to be in. So when you put your foot down, you get a pretty immediate response, and that's all you can really ask for a transmission like this, is just getting that immediate response and having general smoothness in your everyday driving.
Yeah, and for your drivetrains, you're looking at front-wheel drive or torque vectoring all-wheel drive. And that does mean that you're only going to have 2 fuel economy ratings for this Telluride, since there is only one motor. So we're looking at 21 miles a gallon combined. This one does have all-wheel drive. 182421 is the official rating. But guys, we have been a little quiet about one of the major elements about this Telluride, the ride quality. So I want to hop into that and, point out some really insightful comments here. So, of course, we do have the X Pro, which is the off-road focused Telluride. So we have the smaller 18-inch wheels, but we do have like those off-roady tires. And as far as the ride quality goes, we've just been taking a few minutes to soak it up here and see how it compares to the rivals. It does a really good job. I have to say, this X Pro is really not going to reduce your ride quality down. It's not going to be a rough riding vehicle. It actually does a fantastic job of soaking up the bumps. This country road, we've hit quite a few differences in the pavement, and it just does a really good job. This Telluride, we've been behind the wheel of it lots and lots of times. It's one of the most comfortable in the segment. That's going to continue for 2023. And even if you go for an X Pro, you're not going to have a lot of sacrifices in the ride quality department.
Right, exactly, because at the end of the day, X Pro is to give you the ability to go on some occasional off-road adventures, go a little off the beaten path. This is not going to, take you out into the Mojave Desert and go into some crazy off-road things that like a Jeep Wrangler can go into. This is just, to support you being able to do whatever you want to do inside of your adventurous lifestyle.
And I do also want to mention the sound level. That's something you guys are always curious about. So going 55 miles per hour. Official Car Confections sound level reading, 54.5 decibels. Really, really impressive sound level. I actually do believe that's... I don't know if I'm remembering this right or not, but I think that's exactly what the previous Tellurides tested at, so I don't think Kia really changed much when it comes to sound deadening in the Telluride. You can expect a very quiet cabin. That's, of course, going to continue this year. And after spending the entire afternoon with this refreshed Telluride, I think it's time for us to hop into our Slam Dunk and Airball. What's the best element? What's an element we like improved? So the Slam Dunk today, I think, really just has to be the 2023 changes they've done for this refreshed model. Namely, I think the biggest thing is the tech in here. The dual 12.3-inch displays, huge step forward. I really hated that it didn't have digital gauges last year, so that's certainly a big benefit that we now have that. And I just think in general, having the different trim levels, they have lots of different options for whatever your lifestyle may be. They do have an option for a Telluride now in that.
And then our airball is going to be the one caveat we have to that.
Yeah.
We talked about this, and we actually think we like the pre-refresh headlights better. They took the amber daytime running light, which I thought was a pretty unique element that really made the Telluride stand out. And the overall design just, I don't know, it looks a little bit different. I preferred what it looked like before.
Yeah. I know it's controversial, but I liked it. I know. Comment your thoughts down below. I'm actually curious to see what you guys think about the amber daytime running lights. Do you like them? Did they make a good move removing them? I think it's about 50-50 on if people like them or not. And wrapping things up today, let's go ahead and talk about the pricing. Now, of course, like we've mentioned throughout this video, we don't have full in-depth pricing. That said, we were able to discern a few different prices for the different trim levels. For 2023, you're going to be starting at $35,690 for the LX front-wheel drive model. And I do have pricing for a few other trim levels. So the EX X-Line is $45,485. And then this top-end model, the SX Prestige X Pro, is going to start at $52,785. Now, this particular tester has the optional white paint, and we also have destination of $1,335, bringing it to $54,615. This is the fully loaded Telluride example, so that's going to be a little bit more than it was last year, a little bit more than the Palisade calligraphy as well. A few $1,000s is about all, though.
The auto start-stop system is activated right now. I'll let my foot off the brake here and see how she fires up. Nice and smooth. Yeah, that's going to be a good auto start-stop system. You can also turn it off if you don't like it. But overall, we have certainly been very impressed here with this 2023 Telluride. If you've seen any of our previous content, you know that we absolutely love the Telluride. And the fact that Kia is continually improving a model that is highly sought after, really well received. I really like that they're continuing to make updates to it. And this refreshed model with the upgrades, especially on the inside and the outside, I think they have really nailed it.
Well guys, thanks so much for joining us on one of the very first in-depth looks at the refreshed 2023 Kia Telluride in its fully loaded trim level. If you enjoyed watching this video or would enjoy watching some more exclusive vehicle reviews, please hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out and helps give us opportunities to show you all cooler stuff like this Telluride right here. Also follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We additionally have a merch store available, so if you want to support the channel that way, we would truly appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.